In NFL history, thousands of wide receivers have played their rookie season, but only 28 have ever reached 1,000 yards. Some became Hall of Famers, some set records that stood for decades, and some burned bright for just one magical year before fading away. But they all share one thing in common. They did something that 99% of receivers couldn't do. This is the story of one of the most exclusive clubs in NFL history, and it starts in 1960, when a rookie from tiny Heidelberg College showed the football world what was possible. Nobody expected Bill Groman to make history, but he set a standard that would stand for over 6 decades. Playing for the inaugural Houston Oilers, Groman terrorized defensive backs with a combination of precise routes and sure hands that seemed years ahead of his time. His 1,473 receiving yards established a rookie record that would remain untouched until 2023. Teams knew he was coming, but they still couldn't stop him. Against the New York Titans, he put together a performance for the ages with 3 touchdowns. He followed that up by burning the Broncos for 182 yards. As the game evolved from run-heavy offenses to pass-first attacks, his record survived countless challenges from Hall of Fame receivers. Groman finished his rookie campaign with 12 touchdowns, helping lead Houston to the first AFL championship. While the league was different then, his impact was undeniable. He became the only player in history to win 4 championships in his first 6 seasons. 18 years after Groman's historic season, a new rookie sensation emerged in San Diego. John Jefferson, the 4th overall pick from Arizona State, was all about consistency. Jefferson barely squeaked past the 1,000-yard mark with 1,001 yards, but he became the first player in NFL history to reach 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 seasons, setting a standard for rookie excellence that went beyond just first-year numbers. While other rookies had explosive debuts followed by sophomore slumps, Jefferson proved staying power was possible from day one. But he's not the only rookie known for his consistency.
He makes lots of money, he's the center of attention, and there is a certain amount of mystique that surrounds his off-the-field antics.
I think being a bachelor and playing football have a lot of similarities between them. You go out and there's not anything in the world any more competitive than going out and trying to find the girl. I like girls that aren't too bright because you can trick them a little bit. High school girls love me. 14 to 18, I'm a big star with that.
Before becoming one of football's most recognizable voices in the broadcast booth, Chris Collinsworth was redefining what a tall receiver could do. At 6 foot 5 inches tall, the Bengals' second-round pick from Florida brought a new dimension to Cincinnati's offense. His best rookie moment came in Week 4 against the Bills, where he torched Buffalo's secondary for 111 yards and a touchdown on 10 catches. But it wasn't just one game. Collinsworth's route-running precision and surprising speed for his size helped him accumulate 1,009 yards and earned a Pro Bowl selection as a rookie. His success challenged the then conventional wisdom about tall receivers needing time to develop and get used to the speed at the pro level. His ability to use his length while maintaining the agility of a smaller player created matchup nightmares for defenders. As great as he is in the broadcasting booth, he might have been an even better player. That rookie season showed why Cincinnati believed in him and why he would go on to earn 3 Pro Bowl selections in his 8 NFL seasons. The NFL had seen tall receivers dominate before, but nobody was quite ready for Ernest Givens. At just 5 foot 9 inches tall, this spark plug of a receiver brought a whole new energy to the Houston Oilers' run-and-shoot offense. In 1986, Givens turned the Astrodome into his personal playground, racking up 1,062 yards and introducing the NFL to his signature electric slide touchdown celebration. His acceleration off the line and ability to find soft spots in zone coverage made him the perfect weapon for Warren Moon's aerial attack. What made his rookie campaign even more remarkable was that it would stand as his career high. Despite playing 10 seasons and making 2 Pro Bowls, Givens never again crossed the 1,000-yard threshold. His electric rookie season was lightning in a bottle, but it showed that in the right system, even an undersized receiver could dominate from day one. While his celebration moves might have gotten more attention than his route running, Givens proved that the evolving passing game was creating opportunities for receivers of all sizes. Bill Brooks demonstrated what pure reliability looked like. The 4th-round pick from Boston University arrived in Indianapolis with little fanfare, but quickly became the Colts' most dependable target. Brooks' signature moment came in Week 11 against the Jets, when he turned MetLife Stadium into his personal showcase with 9 catches for 177 yards. While his rookie total of 1,131 yards would stand as his career best, Brooks brought a consistency to the position that would help him forge an 11-year NFL career. The 1986 season might have been his statistical peak, but Brooks showed that sometimes a rookie year is more about establishing yourself as a legit pro who can be counted on when it matters most. If Brooks was all about reliability, Joey Galloway was pure electricity. When the Seahawks spent their 8th overall pick on the Ohio State speedster, they knew they were getting something special. They just didn't know how special. His 1,039-yard rookie campaign included an 86-yard touchdown bomb that stood as the longest pass play of the 1995 season. But unlike some rookie sensations who faded after fast starts, Galloway was just getting warmed up. His combination of track star speed and precise route running would help him compile nearly 11,000 yards and 77 touchdowns across an impressive 16-year career. In an era before NFL next-gen stats tracked player speed, Galloway was the league's human cheat code, the player every defensive coordinator had to game plan around. And while some viewed him as a budget Randy Moss in Madden, his longevity and consistency proved he was anything but a bargain bin talent. While Galloway was burning up the West Coast, another Ohio State receiver was about to make his mark out east. When Bill Parcells called Terry Glenn "she" in training camp, the 7th overall pick didn't say much. He just let his play do the talking. Glenn's route-running precision made him an instant favorite of Drew Bledsoe in New England's offense. He might not have Galloway's straight-line speed, but his ability to create separation was almost artistic. Against Miami in Week 9, he put on a clinic with 10 catches for 112 yards, showing the AFC East that a new star had arrived. That rookie season saw Glenn rack up 1,132 yards, proving Parcells' early criticism wrong and helping establish the Patriots as an offensive force. While his career would later include stops in Green Bay and Dallas, that first year in New England showed exactly why he'd been a consensus All-American at Ohio State. Everything we thought we knew about rookie receivers changed on a cold afternoon in Dallas. 3 catches, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns. On that day, Randy Moss rewrote the rules of what was possible on a football field. The 21st pick in the draft made 20 teams look foolish for passing on him. He turned his rookie season into performance art. 1,313 yards, a rookie record 17 touchdowns, first-team All-Pro honors, and a third-place finish in MVP voting. At 6 foot 4 inches with 4.25 speed and a 43-inch vertical, he was a cheat code come to life. It's hard to put into words how he made the extraordinary look routine. You just can't do it justice. He was so dominant that the term "getting mossed" entered the football lexicon. Yeah, Randy Moss's rookie season was the moment the NFL realized nothing would ever be the same. Okay, you don't get much more revolutionary than Randy Moss. The dude was called the Freak for a reason. But while our focus in this video is on wideouts, there are a handful of rookie tight ends who eclipsed 1,000 yards, and it would be rude not to take a look at them. Cause Moss wasn't the first pass catcher to change the game. Back in 1961, Mike Ditka did something that seemed impossible for a tight end. He dominated the passing game. In just 13 games, Iron Mike racked up 1,076 yards and 12 touchdowns. His defining moment came in Week 9 against the Packers. A 3-touchdown, 190-yard masterpiece that had defensive coordinators questioning everything they knew about the position. Remember, this was an era where tight ends were glorified tackles who occasionally ran routes. Ditka changed that forever. For 6 decades, that mark stood untouched. Tight ends evolved, became more athletic, and more involved in the passing game, but none could match Ditka's rookie explosion. Then Kyle Pitts arrived in Atlanta, bringing a new kind of athleticism to the position. The highest drafted tight end in NFL history lived up to the hype, collecting 1,026 yards and a Pro Bowl selection. His 163-yard showcase against Miami was a glimpse of the new age NFL, where tight ends can run routes and create mismatches just like elite receivers. And nobody sums that up like the most recent tight end to hit the 1,000-yard mark, Brock Bowers. In 2024, he broke tackles and records with equal ease. When he surpassed Ditka's mark, he did it with a style all his own. With over 100 catches, Bowers has even set a new record for catches for any position in their rookie season. His combination of precise routes, vice grip hands, and after-the-catch power has defensive coordinators losing sleep all over again. The Raiders have finally nailed a solid draft pick, and the future might be looking bright. But speaking of absolute studs, let's get back to the wideouts, and Anquan Boldin in particular. Cause in 2003, the Arizona Cardinals found a receiver that would terrorize defenses for years, becoming famous for turning every short catch into a battle of wills that the defense usually lost. His rookie season though, the Cardinals were a football wasteland, stumbling to a 4-12 record. But Anquan Boldin shone. The 54th overall pick shattered expectations from his very first game. Boldin announced his arrival with an historic debut, torching Detroit for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns. But unlike many rookies who burst onto the scene only to fade away, he maintained that excellence throughout the season, ending up with 101 catches, 1,377 yards, and 8 touchdowns, the lone bright spot in Arizona's offense. At 6 feet 2 inches, 220 pounds, Boldin was a different animal in the open field. more running back than receiver with the ball in his hand. It kind of felt like he came out of nowhere. He became the only rookie selected to the 2004 Pro Bowl and took home Offensive Rookie of the Year honors. All this while playing with a rotating cast of quarterbacks on one of the NFL's worst teams. Bolden showed how to shine despite his surroundings, but Michael Clayton proved that sometimes lightning only strikes once. The 15th overall pick stormed out of LSU and into Tampa Bay's record books, putting together a rookie campaign that had Bucs fans dreaming of their next superstar. Clayton torched the Rams for 142 yards in Week 6, then followed it up with 145 yards against the Chargers in Week 13. His 1,193-yard rookie season looked like the foundation of something special, but Clayton would never again reach even 500 yards in a season, becoming one of the NFL's most puzzling one-year wonders. Yeah, we all expected a bit more from Clayton, but nobody expected much from this next guy. When the New Orleans Saints selected Marquez Colston with the 252nd pick in the 2006 draft, just 4 spots away from being Mr. Irrelevant, nobody could have predicted what was about to unfold. He was about to become one of the greatest late-round picks in NFL history.
Colston racked up one productive year after the next and was critical in the Saints' Super Bowl championship season. In 10 seasons and 146 games with the Saints, Colston had 9,759 yards and 72 touchdowns, leading the Saints in all-time receptions and 4th highest in all-time scoring.
In a season where New Orleans was trying to heal a city devastated by Hurricane Katrina, Colston emerged as an unexpected bright spot. Taking over for departed veteran Joe Horn, the rookie showed that he could transform the Saints' passing attack. After 2 quiet games to start his career, he announced his arrival in Week 4 against the Panthers. Colston hauled in 5 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown, using his imposing 6'4", 225-pound frame to overwhelm defenders. It was the moment he started playing like a physical mismatch, and defensive backs around the league realized they had a new problem to deal with. Despite missing 2 games, Colston racked up 70 catches for 1,038 yards and 8 touchdowns. His presence helped turn a team that went 3-13 the previous year into NFC Championship contenders. In just 14 games, the 7th-round selection produced numbers that most first-round picks dream of. Speaking of numbers, not many receivers in NFL history have put their name on the map quite like this guy. From his first NFL game, A.J. Green displayed a mastery of body control and spatial awareness that made cornerbacks look helpless. If anyone doubted A.J. Green's physicality, his Week 7 matchup against the Seahawks showed NFL-caliber grit. Going head-to-head with Richard Sherman, already one of the league's most feared corners, Green had 63 yards and a touchdown. Sure, the Legion of Boom snagged a couple of picks, but they couldn't contain the rookie. Nobody could. In 15 games, he had 65 catches, 1,057 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He turned jump balls into ballet performances, floating through the air with a grace that seemed to defy gravity. Every contested catch was a demonstration of his extraordinary body control, which was unusual at 6'4" and 209 pounds. What made his season even more impressive was that he did it with fellow rookie Andy Dalton throwing him the ball. While most first-year receivers struggled to build chemistry with veteran quarterbacks, Green and Dalton looked like they'd been playing together for years. His ability to elevate the entire passing game helped transform Cincinnati into a playoff team. A.J. Green was about as big a lock as you can get in the draft. But what this next guy was about to do would make teams question everything they thought they knew about the scouting process. In the 2013 draft, Keenan Allen slid all the way to the 3rd round. By season's end, everyone who passed on him was left wondering how they let the Cal product slip through their fingers. Despite a rocky start that included a Week 3 performance with negative yardage, Allen quickly proved any doubters wrong. His breakout game came in Week 6 against the Colts, where he showcased what would become his trademark, an uncanny ability to read and exploit defensive coverages. With 9 catches for 107 yards in that clutch victory, he played like a vet. Allen rewrote the Chargers' record books. His 1,046 receiving yards broke John Jefferson's 35-year-old franchise rookie record of 1,001 yards. And he did it while leading all NFL rookies with 71 receptions, quickly establishing himself as Phillip Rivers' go-to target. While many rookie receivers rely on pure athleticism, Allen was already displaying the route-running precision and football IQ of a veteran. Yeah, he played like an artist out there. And speaking of masterpieces, the next rookie receiver was about to create just that. It's time we take a look at Mike Evans. Evans turned the Buccaneers' record books into his personal notepad, setting franchise rookie records with 68 catches for 1,051 yards. But it was his 12 touchdowns that really turned heads, as he showed an uncanny ability to dominate in the red zone. Standing at 6'5" Evans made jump balls look easy, and his rookie season wasn't just a flash of brilliance, it was the beginning of an unprecedented run. Evans would go on to become the first player in NFL history to start his career with 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. No matter who throws him the ball, from terrible quarterbacks to GOATs, Evans always delivers, and there is no doubt he will have a bust in Canton one day. Some rookie seasons are memorable for their statistics, others for their impact. But Odell Beckham Jr.'s 2014 campaign was all about moments. Specifically, one Sunday night against Dallas that changed football forever. That one-handed catch that redefined what we thought was possible on a football field. But focusing solely on that catch would undersell just how dominant OBJ's rookie season was. Despite missing the first 4 games, Beckham put up numbers that veterans dream about. 1,305 yards and 12 touchdowns in just 12 games. Imagine the numbers he'd have in a full season. As a rookie, he led the entire NFL in yards per game, making the Pro Bowl and inspiring a generation of young receivers to practice one-handed grabs. Once he got on the field, Beckham was unstoppable, stringing together 9 straight games with 90 or more receiving yards. And the really crazy thing is that he had great moments in seemingly every game. While OBJ was redefining what was possible with one hand, another rookie was showing what could be done with pure size. At 6'5" tall and 245 pounds, Kelvin Benjamin was built more like a tight end, but the Panthers had bigger plans for their first-round pick. Benjamin used his massive frame to bully his way to 1,008 yards, giving Cam Newton the kind of big-bodied target Carolina had been missing. But unlike Beckham's ascent, Benjamin's story would become a cautionary tale. An ACL tear wiped out his sophomore season, and when he returned, something was different. The hunger seemed gone. Trades to Buffalo and Kansas City followed, and the player who once looked unstoppable as a rookie found himself out of the league just 5 years later. Sometimes, a 1,000-yard rookie season is just the beginning. Sometimes, it's the peak. And then there's the guy who just kept climbing. When the Raiders made Amari Cooper the 4th overall pick, they got a pure technician. His route running was so precise, it looked like he was running on rails. Cooper had 5 different 100-yard games as a rookie, including a masterclass against the Ravens where he turned their secondary inside out. His 1,070 yards and a Pro Bowl selection were just the appetizer. Unlike Benjamin, Cooper was building a foundation for something bigger. Through multiple teams and systems, from Oakland to Dallas to Cleveland and beyond, that rookie season was pretty much his floor. Now, he's ripping it up in Buffalo with Josh Allen, and he's ready to climb even higher. A decade after Marquez Colston set the bar for Saints rookie receivers, Michael Thomas demolished it. The second-round pick from Ohio State stepped into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome and immediately became Drew Brees' most dangerous weapon. From week 1, his combination of precise route running and vice-grip hands made him nearly impossible to defend. By season's end, he had snagged every major Saints rookie receiving record that Colston had set, finishing with 92 catches for 1,137 yards and 9 touchdowns. While most first-year receivers struggle with the NFL learning curve, Thomas looked like he'd been playing with Brees for years. His catch radius was crazy, and he seemed to only get better as the season progressed. People tend to forget how dominant he was at one point. Thomas would build on his rookie season and become a reception machine. In the 2019 season, he hauled in an insane 149 receptions, an NFL record that might stand for quite some time. Yeah, he was the perfect weapon for Brees, but this next guy, Tennessee found their own kind of weaponry in A.J. Brown. The second-round pick from Ole Miss punished anyone who dared to tackle him. From his very first game, Brown showed that he was built different, hitting the century mark in his NFL debut. But it was Week 13 against the Raiders when he truly arrived. Brown racked up 153 yards and 2 touchdowns, turning routine catches into highlight reel runs, dragging defenders like they were trying to tackle a bulldozer. Brown brought back memories of the physical specimens of the past. His 1,051 yards were about what happened after the catch, when he turned simple slants into explosive plays. Over the span of almost 60 years, from Groman in 1960 to A.J. Brown in 2019, there has only been 19 receivers in NFL history to reach the 1,000-yard mark in their rookie season. The last 5 years, from 2020 to 2024, features 9 rookies alone, with 3 of them achieving it in 2024. The explosive passing era is here to stay. And it doesn't get much more explosive than this guy, because when Justin Jefferson stepped onto an NFL field in 2020, he obliterated records. The Vikings rookie shattered an 18-year-old Super Bowl-era mark by racking up 1,400 receiving yards, establishing himself as one of the league's elite receivers before he'd even completed his first season. When you surpass Randy Moss in any Vikings receiving category, you're doing something special. Jefferson's 88 catches smashed Randy's mark. His Week 6 game against the Falcons was probably the best demonstration of his terrifying playmaking ability. 9 catches, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jefferson's ability to create separation and rack up yards after the catch made him nearly impossible to contain. He joined elite company by recording 7 100-yard games, matching Odell Beckham Jr.'s mark, and again surpassing Randy Moss, who had 4 such games in his rookie campaign. What made Jefferson's season really insane was how quickly he adapted to the pro game. His signature moves became instant nightmares for defenders. The way he could stop on a dime, his devastating release off the line, and that unstoppable dance-like wiggle at the top of his routes that left cornerbacks grasping at air. There's nobody in the modern game who can hold a candle to JJ, unless you're the next guy on the list. What's particularly unfair is these two played together on the same college team. Yeah, we're talking about Ja'Marr Chase, one of the most electrifying playmakers in the NFL today. When the Bengals reunited Chase with his college quarterback Joe Burrow in 2021, they were adding rocket fuel to an already promising offense. After a preseason plagued by dropped passes and reports coming out of camp that he had trouble seeing the ball, some were already writing him off. But Chase responded to his critics in a big way. He outshone fellow LSU alum Justin Jefferson in Week 1, posting 101 yards and a touchdown, while Jefferson was held to 71. But that was just the warm-up. Chase would go on to break the 200-yard mark twice, torching the Ravens for 201 yards in Week 7 and saving his best for last with a jaw-dropping 266-yard 3-touchdown performance against the Chiefs in Week 17. Not bad for someone not being able to see the football in preseason. By the end of the regular season, the 5th overall pick had terrorized defensive backs to the tune of 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns. His connection with Burrow looked like it had never been interrupted by their year apart, as the duo picked up right where they left off at LSU. Chase made the biggest plays in the biggest moments, turning routine slants into house calls. The accolades poured in. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Pro Bowl selection, and even All-Pro honors. Chase brought a dimension of speed and explosiveness that transformed Cincinnati's offense overnight, helping lead the Bengals to a Super Bowl appearance that nobody saw coming. In 2024, after a full-on contract dispute during the offseason, he's only cemented his position as an absolute weapon, leading the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. While Chase was rewriting records in Cincinnati, his old SEC rival was making waves in Miami. Jalen Waddle might have been the 6th overall pick, but he played like he should have gone first, bringing a new dimension of speed to an offense desperate for playmakers. The Panthers learned the hard way in Week 12 what happens when you give Waddle even an inch of space. His 137-yard, 1-touchdown performance was a masterclass in acceleration. That rookie campaign saw him stack up 1,015 yards despite playing with a rotating cast of quarterbacks, proving elite talent shows up regardless of who's throwing the ball. The very next year, another rookie showed that quarterback chaos doesn't have to stop you from shining. All Garrett Wilson did was turn the Jets' offensive struggles into his personal highlight reel. Week 2 against Cleveland, he announced himself with 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it was his 162-yard masterpiece against the Vikings in Week 13 that really dropped jaws. Wilson's body control and ability to adjust to off-target throws made him look like he was playing a different sport. The NFL agreed, naming him Offensive Rookie of the Year, proving that sometimes individual brilliance can shine through even the darkest situations. And just to prove Ohio State's receivers come in pairs, Wilson's college teammate was busy cooking up his own rookie feast down in New Orleans. Chris Olave brought a different flavor to the Saints offense, all smooth routes and subtle moves that left defenders grasping at shadows. The Panthers seemed to be everyone's favorite victim that year, as Olave torched them for 147 yards on 9 catches in Week 3. His final tally of 1,042 yards on 72 catches showed that while Wilson might have gotten the hardware, both Buckeyes knew how to make an immediate impact. But sometimes, the best stories in sports are the ones nobody saw coming. When the Rams selected Puka Nacua with the 177th pick in the 2023 draft, most fans had to Google his name. By season's end, they were Googling his records. He kicked the door down with 10 catches in his debut before following it up with a rookie record 15 receptions the next week. Those 25 catches in his first 2 games weren't just the most by a rookie. They were the most by any player in NFL history to start a season. By year's end, he had the greatest statistical rookie season in NFL history. His 105 receptions and 1,486 yards are both with records. He earned All-Pro honors and a Pro Bowl selection while redefining what's possible for a late-round pick. At 6 foot 1 inch and 205 pounds, Nacua is the perfect blend of size and strength. He always fights for extra yards, turning short completions into long gains. He can win at every level of the field and has the IQ of a vet, often diagnosing defenses pre-snap and adjusting his routes accordingly. While his draft classmate, C.J. Stroud, took home Offensive Rookie of the Year honors, Nacua's rise from day 3 pick to NFL star might be even more impressive. In an offense that lost Cooper Kupp early, Nacua instantly filled the void. And if you thought last year was good for rookie receivers, this season has been even better. You might think the Jags couldn't possibly have a 1,000-yard receiver with how all over the place they've been, and maybe Brian Thomas Jr. didn't arrive with the same fanfare as some other rookies, but by season's end, he had defensive coordinators losing sleep. His late-season surge told the whole story. Back-to-back breakout games, 105 yards and 2 scores against the Jets, followed by 132 yards and another touchdown versus the Raiders, showed what happens when raw talent meets growing confidence. Even as the Jaguars' season unraveled around him, Thomas kept ascending, turning his rookie campaign into a preview of coming attractions. You've got to think next year is going to be huge for this guy. Speaking of attractions, sometimes it's not all about the 5-star recruits. Ladd McConkey, the kid who walked on at Georgia before becoming a national champion, brought that same underdog energy to the Chargers. The Saints found out the hard way in Week 8 what happens when you underestimate him, as McConkey turned their secondary inside out for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. And in Week 17 of the 2024 season, he shredded the Patriots for 94 yards and a pair of touchdowns. In a receiver class full of blue-chip prospects, the second-rounder from Georgia proved that heart still matters and has been a big part of the Chargers establishing their new identity. He's been one of the most exciting receivers in the league this year, but there's one rookie who has him beat. Yeah, it's Malik Nabers, who took the Big Apple by storm. Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock, a blind sailor with one arm. It didn't seem to matter who threw him the ball in 2024. He still dominated. Week 2 against Washington was just the appetizer. 10 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown that had the Giants fans thinking they'd found their next star. But it was his Week 17 masterpiece against Indianapolis that really showed what he could do, torching the Colts for 171 yards and 2 scores. This is the guy who broke LSU's all-time receiving records at a school that produced Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. His combination of explosive acceleration and route running precision makes him nearly impossible to cover one-on-one. When he's got the ball in his hands, he's got that rare ability to turn routine plays into highlights. What makes his rookie campaign even more impressive is that he did it in fewer games than most of his peers. Missing time with an injury didn't stop Nabers from joining an exclusive club, and alongside Thomas Jr., McConkey, and Bowers, he's helped to make 2024 one of the greatest rookie receiver classes in NFL history. From Bill Groman's AFL explosion to Puka Nacua's record-breaking campaign, reaching 1,000 yards as a rookie has always been the mark of something special. Some went on to become legends. Others peaked in year 1. But they all share membership in football's most exclusive club, the rookies who didn't just survive, but thrived. The question now is, who's going to be next?